All right. How are we doing, everybody? It's your boy AZ. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing good. It is Saturday, and as you can tell by the title, we have a lot to discuss. I can finally not only break down the sauce, but I can really go into depth on this topic because, as you can read by the title, like I just said, I am not only 26 years old, but I am now making $72,000 annually as a restaurant manager. And most importantly, I have no degree. Now, I will start by prefacing a degree still is important, but I want to say that as we've seen in the economy and as you've seen on TikTok, on social media, there are plenty of people who have degrees but also struggle to even get a fast food job. Now, there are two reasons for that being one, they're either overqualified, or two, they're being underqualified. And that could be for various reasons. But being that I have so much experience, and although, as you've seen from my previous videos, I've had ups and downs, I can definitely say it's a topic that I can speak in depth on and highly of due to the fact that I've been lucky enough to land several positions in such a short amount of time. And I can definitely say, even in 1 year, the year 2025, being able to have at least 5 jobs is something that most people can't say they've been able to do. I've seen people go years struggling to get jobs, months struggling to get jobs, but luckily I've been able to not only land jobs very easily, but also interview for a lot of jobs. And I can definitely say it's due to the first and most important thing that you need to have when it comes to applying for a job and getting a job. It's having a resume. If anybody who's watching this video doesn't have a resume, you will never be successful in the work environment. I'm sorry to say, but that's the very truth. The resume that I have not only is tailored to the jobs that I applied for, it's very detailed, but it shows an extensive amount of experience that not only is attractive to any employer who I am applying for, but also makes me stand out among candidates. And it shows in detail what I am capable of, what I have done, and what I'm able to bring to any company that is willing to hire me. And that is a very big difference in a candidate who wants to get hired versus somebody who's just looking for a job and just applying for a job. You want to make sure that you're very detailed and you make a resume and have a resume that's tailored towards the job that you want to get hired for. There's a lot of times that people will come outside of college, and I understand not always it's their fault, but they don't have any relevant work experience in that job, nor do they even have a tailored resume. And if they do have a resume, it only tells them what they've done education wise, what they've done if it has to do with extracurricular activities or anything that has to do with volunteer work, but it doesn't show any type of relevant work experience in that job. And to an employer, I want to break it down by saying a degree shows you what you know. Meaning, if you're sitting in front of me and I am interviewing you and trying to hire you, and the only thing that you have to show me is the fact that you went to school and you have a degree, meaning you studied this job, that is less valuable versus the next person who would come in who doesn't have a degree but has had multiple jobs in this field, can show me a resume with their work experience, meaning that resume can tell me what they know on top of what they can do. And that to an employer is more valuable because now I'm potentially risking my company by hiring you without knowing if you like this job, if you can do this job, and if you're even fit for this job, because the only thing that I know from you is that you've studied how to do this job. That doesn't guarantee to me you can actually do this job because you've technically never done it. All you've done is study about it. So you know of this job, you technically know how to do it, but you've never done it. And there's no reassurance that you can do this job versus the next candidate who has relevant work experience, maybe not at this level, but they have experience in this field and I can see what they've done in the past, and the resume shows me the skills that they've acquired from all the places that they've worked. So it shows me what they know on top of what they can do. And that is something I'm willing to take a bet on versus somebody who only has a degree. And I'm not saying that a degree still isn't valuable, but if you do not have a degree that is stacked up on top of experience, relevant experience, you're taking a gamble on yourself, and you're basically telling that employer to take a risk on their business by hiring you. And no employer, no business owner wants to take risks on their business because that's their livelihood. It's what they use to feed their family. And that's the main reason why I've been able to not only be successful in getting multiple jobs, such as interviews, but also landing a lot of jobs. My resume is not only so stacked with relevant work experience for each position that I apply for, it also shows them what I've been able to do and what I can do and what I'm willing to do for that employer. On top of me being able to answer any type of relevant questions that they have for the job that I'm applying for, while also being able to explain to them in depth my background, my work history, and what I can do in terms of everything that has been shown on my resume. That is a very, very, very big thing that a lot of people, such as those in the youth, aren't able to do because they don't have those skills. They haven't developed the experience, and they've only been doing the same thing over and over. Now, I understand that we've all been told that going to college is the very first thing that you should do once outside of college. But I want to tell you the cheat code that I've been able to learn from not only all the hardworking people you see on Instagram, the entrepreneurs, all the people who are successful, but one thing that I can say I've seen also is that a lot of people who are successful, they do multiple things at the same time, meaning they work a job, they go to school, and they're still building and learning something on the side. I like to call it the trifecta effect, meaning they want to be efficient and gain skills in all the necessary areas of life that will propel them to be successful very fast. So, a lot of people who want to be at the pinnacle of success, not only are they working a 9 to 5, but that 9 to 5 is relevant to the job that they're studying for either in college or in trade school or with the skill that they're learning, such as sales. If they want to be a very good salesperson, they're not only studying the sales skills outside, but they have a sales job. If somebody's going to want to be a doctor, they have a job in the hospital. Either they're a phlebotomist or a CNA if they're going to nursing school, while also being in nursing school. And at the same time, they go home, they study all those skills, and they do all the necessary things that they're supposed to do that will not only propel them in that career, but they're learning about what they're doing, they're gaining experience in what they're doing, and they're leveling themselves up in all the tasks that will get them to the pinnacle of success within that career. And that is the years of experience. That's the type of commitment and dedication that you need to have in order to really be successful, because that's what's going to show a lot of employers that you are fit for this job. A lot of people, I understand, don't really have the necessary time, don't really have the necessary, resources and or things available for them to, always do everything at the same time. But to really be successful, you have to understand what you want. Separate yourself from all the noise. Don't worry about your friends. Don't worry about your brother. Don't worry about your sister. And you need to understand what you want. I know that I wanted to be successful financially, for example. So it was very important for me to understand that as I was developing myself in these management roles in the food industry, that not only was giving me the experience that I needed, it was also allowing me to earn the income that could not only allow me to stop going to college, because I technically am in college. I'm in my last year. But what's the reason why we're all going to college? We're all going to college to be able to earn high income jobs. But at the same time, with the amount of work experience and the work and the jobs that I've always had, I've been able to basically level up and move on in the management positions, in the tier levels, and in the bracket without having to have that necessary educational background. Because, for example, There is a degree that you can have in order to be a restaurant manager. It would be called a hospitality degree. But there is no way, from even my own experience, that I can confirm or tell anybody you need to go to college to be and or get a job in the hospitality environment. You don't need to have a degree to be a hospitable person. You need the experience in the hospitality environment, and you need to understand if you personally want to continue working there, which is why I've been able to understand that this better suits me. I love taking care of other people. I love helping others. I love putting smiles on people's faces. I have high energy, which is the same type of energy you need to be in a restaurant environment. It's fast paced, high energy. You always have to be moving around. And due to me being young and having that experience and work ethic, not only from fast, high paced, fast food environments, I've been able to transition that not only to the restaurant industry, but also while having the management experience from all the other jobs I've had. It's allowed me to work with almost anybody, whether they're younger than me, the same age as me, as older than me, because I understand the level of thinking I need to have to work with anybody, while also having that strong work ethic from all the work experience I've developed. And whenever I speak, whenever I go to an interview, because of how many interviews I've been able to land, because of how many jobs I've had, not only has my understanding of how to interview been perfected, it's what I've been able to translate and also put in the 9 to 5 playbook. That's why you always hear me telling you guys to get your copy, because I want everybody to be able to be just like me, to land a high income 9 to 5 while also building that side income that you want for yourself. Because I understand this economy is very expensive, but if you really want to be financially successful, you have to make sure you have multiple sources of income. That's why I'm building this YouTube channel. That's why I'm creating content, but that's also why I'm making sure to reach the pinnacle of financial income within the 9 to 5 environment that I can make. While I'm doing that, I'm also clearing debt, saving money, and also investing, which is also going to eventually become another form of income. Because as I start doing it earlier, and as I start earning higher income at an earlier age, I'll be able to invest more, because I've not only cleared my debt, but I've put myself in a position to have high income at an early age because of the experience that I have. And I want everybody to understand that the experience is just as important as the degree. The experience is just as important as the degree, and sometimes even more important, because we all I don't particularly go on TikTok. I'm being honest. I have TikTok, but I use it more to create content versus consume content. But I have seen on YouTube, when people do reaction videos, that a lot of people have been making their own videos on TikTok struggling to get jobs. It is very, very, very difficult for a lot of people to get jobs. That's why I'm preaching the way I'm preaching, because I've been so blessed, but I've also mastered what it means to go out and look for a job. I can sit down in a day and apply for over 40 jobs, and sometimes get a call that same day that I applied because of my resume. So if you want to understand how to create a resume, which is the number one thing you need to have, because your resume shows your experience, you need to get the 9 to 5 playbook. Get it in the description. It is free. It is free. It is free. Do you want to be successful? Get the 9 to 5 playbook. I guarantee you will not be successful if you don't get the 9 to 5 playbook, because you will not truly understand what it means to go to an interview, what it means to get a job, and what it means to be successful in the 9 to 5 environment. Because I guarantee you haven't had 25 jobs like I have. I'm 26 now, and I can say I've had over 30 jobs, both in the food industry, restaurant industry, and customer service industry. All of that knowledge is culminated into why at 26 years old, I've been able to land a job that makes me $72,000 annually, and the income will only increase. Sorry for yapping so much. I just wanted to really stress how important it is that everybody create a resume. Like I said, and I'll say it again, if you need help creating a resume, shoot me a DM, leave a comment, but most importantly, get your copy of the 9 to 5 playbook. It's in the description for free. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.